Morning. How is everybody today? I am doing well. Hope you are too. Hanging out here for a minute. See who's online. What's up? Oh my goodness. You finally figured out how to do this thing, did you? Wow. So, this is me today. I chose to go with the I'm really working from home today look. Got my daytime pajamas on, covered in Peppa Pig Easter stickers. My son put stickers on me. That's cool. Yeah. Kind of a nice day outside. It's been warming up here, so we're in the. I don't know if this is like springtime in the desert or what, but it's like in the 50s at night and in the mid 70s during the day. But it's weird because the 50s feel cold and the 70s feel hot. So, trying to decide if it's. Well, we're trying to put off putting the AC on as long as possible and just kind of waiting on the real heat before we start spending money on that. So we just open up all the windows at night and get the place all freezing cold and then wait all day for it to warm back up. So I've been talking to a lot of students lately, and I'm starting to notice, especially people who are getting ready to graduate soon, just nervousness. A lot of people feeling desperate about, landing that first job or maybe internships. Those two, everything's on a hiring freeze right now, and it all just feels really weird. And I'm starting to get the sense that people are feeling desperate, and I just kind of wanted to pop on and give a quick message of hope there that you shouldn't. This is a temporary thing. It's going to come back. It's going to bounce back. The world's going to keep turning. So be patient. But in the meanwhile, realize also that when you're desperate, people notice everything from the timing that you communicate with to the language you use. You ever go to a store or something and somebody walks up to offer to help you and you just instantly know that actually this is a salesperson and they're here to convince me to buy stuff whether I really want it or not. And they start to give that stereotypical used car speech. The problem with feeling that desperation is that it smells bad and people notice. And so I just want to kind of give you permission instead to maybe try a different approach, which is being picky. You might not feel like it, but you actually have the opportunity right now to be just as picky as you'd like to be. Let me start by giving you a little quote here. This is by a character named Howard Thurman. And what he said was, let me move you in my way. What he said was, don't ask what the world needs. Ask what makes you come alive. And go do it. Because what the world needs is people who have come alive. This is a weird time, for sure. And temporarily, we're not quite sure what's going to happen or how long it's going to last and those kinds of things. But we do know it's going to end. This isn't what life looks like for the rest of life. I'm sure of it. And so I'd like to encourage you to start thinking about what does it mean for you to be picky, to find what makes you come alive and go do it. Because an interesting thing happens when people who are passionate show up for work. They succeed. I experienced this for myself, actually. I woke up one day very desperate for a job after having been laid off. This was right when we had just found out that we were expecting our first son, and my contract didn't get renewed. Money ran out, and we were instantly on the job market at the worst possible time of year for somebody in an academic position to be in one. So I freaked out, and I applied to 100 jobs, and I've told this story a million times. Why 100 though? Well, the reason is I was desperately spreading my information to anywhere that I could find that would, potentially bite. Interestingly enough, I got 0 phone calls. 0. Among the many things that happened during that time was I found this quote, this "Don't ask what the world needs, ask what makes you come alive. Go do it." And I just started to realize, after all the effort that I put into getting this education, after all the effort that you've put into getting your education, maybe you deserve to be picky. And maybe, just maybe, it's worth the wait. And so a big part of what I did was I got a lot pickier. And, you've probably heard me say the numbers before, that I applied to 25 more jobs and I got 26 interviews. That's a big difference from going from 100 applications and 0. And the reason I think that actually worked out was 2 things. One, I was really focused on connecting with people instead of just randomly applying to job postings. But the other thing was I was picky. I did the research and I only applied to places that I actually wanted to go, which was a scary thing to do when you have no health insurance and a pregnant spouse. And I guess the point there is that when you're picky, I think you end up communicating to people who would actually want to bring you in a way that lets them see you for who you are. And if you're a good fit there, they're going to be interested. So it's kind of funny to see how the numbers went for me here, right? I started out in this world of desperation where I applied to 100 jobs. I got 0 interviews, 0 job offers out of that. So I got a bit pickier and I applied to 25 jobs that I actually wanted. I got 26 interviews and all told 5 offers. I never had this moment where they were all like lined up on the table at the same time and I had to decide, right? But an offer came in and we turned it down, and then another offer came in and we took it. And then after I'd already started, I was actually sitting in my office at work on 3 separate occasions where I got phone calls for other offers. And I was like, well, you move too slow. But then you fast forward to the ultimate pickiness in my life. I was sitting on a job and I was quite happy there, but I found one place that I thought I might be even more interested. And so I applied to one place. So 100 down to 25, down to 1. I applied to one place. I got 1 interview and 1 job offer. And actually the job offer was a position that through some really awesome administrative gymnastics was created more or less for me to do exactly what it is that I love to do most for a bunch of people that I would love to do it for. And that's how I ended up here. And so I hope that even now in this time where it seems like all the odds are stacked against you, instead of desperately applying to anything that moves, which just compounds the problem, by the way, I hope that you'll look around, ask yourself what it is you really love, and go do that. Turns out, when people do that, they tend to succeed. You'll find somebody that wants to pay you to do things you love. You just got to look a little differently. Which, by the way, is something we love to support people in doing. If you head over to intentionalacademy.com/careerbuilder, you can get a free PDF that we are sending around right now that is all about how to get started with building your professional image on the internet. 3 decisions that you need to make to feel confident as you try to strike up relationships with the entirety of the professional world that is currently sitting at home glued to a screen like you are right now. intentionalacademy.com/careerbuilder. That's the place to go to pick up a free copy of this PDF. We call it the Ultimate Career Builders Starter Kit, and we will step you through the first 3 decisions that you need to make to get yourself an awesome professional presence online. So one more time, intentionalacademy.com/careerbuilder. Come hang out there. And also, thanks for tuning in today. I hope you have an awesome day, and I hope you do it while being really, really picky. Cheers.